Hello and welcome to Froch on Fighting with me, Carl the Cobra Froch, and my gorgeous wife, Rachel Froch. I've got an amazing view. The mountain's not bad either. See what I did there? Anyway, this episode is brought to you by Cobra Casino. Enjoy.
So, AJ Ngannou has just been announced. What are your thoughts on this fight?
Anthony Joshua, Francis Ngannou. Who would have thought? I mean, my initial thoughts are it's not a bad fight. It's a fight that Anthony Joshua could potentially struggle with. We saw him against Tyson Fury, and Tyson Fury struggled. But was that because Ngannou was really good, or was that because Fury didn't quite turn up? He wasn't at the races. I think the latter. Fury wasn't at his best. He didn't perform that well. But Ngannou was tidy. He had good distance and timing. He threw a good jab. He was looking for that left hook. And he is a fighter, but obviously in the mixed martial arts world, he's not a professional boxer. So it was his pro debut. Tyson Fury wasn't at his best, but Ngannou comes away with a lot of credit from that fight, which I've already talked about. Tyson Fury is a good fighter by default. So if Fury turns up out of shape, unfit, mentally not switched on, he'll still be able to perform and still be able to do well against somebody like Ngannou. So I suppose we're going to find out how good Ngannou is when he fights AJ. It's not a bad fight. They're both big and strong. Ngannou can punch. So it's a fight I'm looking forward to, if I'm totally honest. It's a fight that, I could get excited about. I'm just not sure that it should be happening because Anthony Joshua wants to become a three-time champion, three-time heavyweight champion. But where's the title? The Hrgovic fight's big. That'll probably be for the IBF title if that becomes vacant. That's a fight we've been talking about. The Zhilei Zhang fight. That's a great fight I want to see Anthony Joshua in. We're getting further and further away from these fights potentially happening if he jumps in there with Ngannou. Can you remember what Eddie Hearn said about the Ngannou fight when it was announced with Tyson Fury?
As to what happens in the ring next week between Fury and Ngannou.
It's a total mismatch. I mean, can we just have the opportunity to say it's a 34 fight, 33 and 1 draw, heavyweight world champion, number one in the world, against a man that has never put on a pair of boxing gloves in a professional ring. And the British Boxing Board of Control are sanctioning that fight between two non-British boxing license holders in Saudi Arabia. The whole thing's a money grab. It's great entertainment. It's a total mismatch, but it's going to be a great event.
So Eddie Hearn's done a complete 180 on his original comments, saying it's a cash grab. Well, this is a cash grab, let's be honest. It's not a world title fight. There's a mixed response on social media. Some people want to see the fight. Like I said, it's decent enough, but it's not proper heavyweight boxing. We want to see Anthony Joshua in there against the world champion. He's talking about becoming a three-time world champion. Anthony Joshua, since losing to Usyk, he's fought Franklin, Hilarious, Wally, and now, and the reason that the Wallin fight and now the Ngannou fight is happening is because Tyson Fury fought him. What is it? What's good for the goose is good for the gander. So now this fight's going to be acceptable because Ngannou did so well against Fury. But let's be honest, this is a cash grab out in Saudi Arabia, and I don't think it's good for heavyweight boxing.
Well, that was my next question. So, is Saudi bad for boxing?
Well, listen, if Saudi gives us Fury against Usyk, the unification heavyweight fight, then great. But if Fury and Usyk fight, and we get the unification fight, then this fight with Anthony Joshua and Ngannou tees up, because AJ should beat Ngannou, let's be honest. It tees up a fight for a unification fight between Anthony Joshua and whoever wins against Fury Usyk. So then the Saudi is good for boxing. But I wouldn't say it's good for boxing as in boxing, the umbrella of boxing. It's good for heavyweight boxing because they want the big fights. They want all the big stuff and all the names. But until they give us until they give us the unification fight, until they give us AJ against the winner of Fury Usyk, and a few others down the line, like there's a few names I mentioned here, like Zhang and Hrgovic, until these start happening, we're going to just sit back and wait because it could be all time wasting. Anthony Joshua is now going to fight Ngannou, then he's going to want 4, 5, 6 months till he's ready. What's Tyson Fury going to look like after he's fought Usyk? If he wins that one, he's going to want another 5 or 6 months before he fights. These aren't getting any younger. I feel like these fights might not get made, but the landscape changes all the time. Look at Deontay Wilder; he's about finished after he lost to Parker, and no one could have seen that coming. Anthony Joshua's back towards where he needs to be after that win against Otto Wallin. So he's kind of on the step. He's at the bottom of a ladder he wants to climb rather than halfway up one he doesn't. David Brent there for you. But yeah, hopefully AJ's future could be good with heavyweight boxing because he's back. I think the Ngannou thing is good. It's an old Eddie Hearn cash grab. He loves a cash grab, doesn't he, Eddie? But that's what it's all about for me. It's about the money. I don't think it's good for heavyweight boxing, as in the proper boxing matches that should be happening for the genuine world titles. But I'll be watching it.
Although Ngannou brings new fans to the sport.
Yeah.
Big in the UFC.
Yeah, he's big in UFC. He's a good fighter. Everybody knows who he is. And if he can perform against Anthony Joshua and look good, whether he wins or loses, then it opens up a few more opportunities for him. And I don't want to rain on the parade. I just think that AJ, like I've said earlier, should be fighting for a world title in his next fight. But this one does set up the potential winner. This AJ Ngannou sets up the potential winner for the Fury-Usyk fight. And that will be a heavyweight unification fight that we all hope happens. So Francis Ngannou is fighting Anthony Joshua over in Saudi Arabia. It's happening. It's looking like March this year, 2024. Let me know in the comments below what you think about this fight. If you think it should be happening, shouldn't be happening. Are you excited about it? Would you rather him fight somebody else? Just let me know. And also as well, I'm reading a lot about the atmosphere or the lack of atmosphere in Saudi Arabia. Stadiums that are held together by scaffolding, empty seats in the arena. I went out to Saudi for the AJ Ruiz rematch, and I'll be honest, I thought it lacked atmosphere. But a lot of the locals in Saudi Arabia, they don't know these fighters. They're not really into boxing in that sense, so it's hard for them to get excited. But that lacks atmosphere, and for me, if an arena or stadium lacks atmosphere, you don't get the best out of the fighter. When I fought Kessler in that rematch at the O2, and it was crazy. It lifts your spirit. It lifts that electromagnetic frequency that we're on, that bandwidth that we're on, that level. It just makes you raise your game. The O2 against Kessler, it was amazing. 80,000 fans at Wembley Stadium. We all remember that one. We're missing out on these stadium fights in Britain because these fights are going over to Saudi Arabia. So let me know what you think of that. I've read a few people's comments. Let me know what you think as well, because it's really, really interesting. So that's it for another episode of Froch on fighting. But that's just what I think. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Don't forget to hit subscribe if you haven't already. And I shall see you next time.